afternoon, my fellow railway modellers, and I thought we'd do a quick video here because I'm just trying to solve a problem which, when I searched online for some answers, all I could find was other people complaining about this, but never a solution. And what it is this is the Dapol Class 22 model, which is a wonderful model, and we're going to be reviewing it, but the cab glazing is very prone to falling back into the cab, which would be something that would be a niggle but an easy fix if they hadn't practically welded the cab interior into the inside of the body. If they'd used the same glue that's gluing the cab interior to the body to glue the windows, we wouldn't have this problem, but they've used the weediest glue you can imagine. So to get this out, I've ended up using quite a small thin box cutter blade, as you can see there, and you have to actually get it from the front down the gap and then very carefully work your way back. The glue it's like iron, it's actually harder than the plastic, so when it does go, it goes suddenly, and you've got to be very careful that the blade doesn't then fly out and stab your other hand, which is desperately trying to hold everything steady. So managed to do that on both sides. As you can see, the damage caused, the scrapes and scratches, a bit of plastics come adrift. I mean, Dapol, come on, really, was that necessary? But there we are, we're just gluing the windows back in now. You can see they've broken ever so cleanly off because they've been glued with what appears to be little more than water. So we're just carefully gluing them in. Now, to refit the windows, I'm using my all-purpose adhesive. I always call it Bostik, but actually this is made by Loctite. And then what I'm going to do with the cab interior, in case of issues, and also in case if I wanted to fit crew in here, it'd be nice to actually have some people driving these ghost locomotives that are otherwise running around all on their own. I was thinking possibly using something like PVA glue, which will dry and hold it in place, but is something that's a lot easier to get this back out if you ever need to. Part of the problem does seem to be that the windows don't quite sit flush to the sides of the cab. Probably because the cab's got a slightly curved profile, but the windows, being moulded from a separate piece of clear plastic, are much straighter. So they seem to have tried to spring from the cab body, and they probably did that as well when the model was actually assembled out in China. So it's prevented the glue from making a very good bond. So you can see there when I push it, it goes down and then it slowly rises back up. Now I could hold it until the glue dries, but there's more to life than watching glue dry. But there we have it. The windows. Oops. Got to be very careful here not to get glue on the back of the windows. So make sure that whichever finger we use isn't actually covered in glue. Right, got to get this back in now. So we're going to pick a different glue. I'm not going to use the all-purpose adhesive because, again, Once that's dried, the chances are we'd have exactly the same problem again in trying to get the cab off. So what we're going to do is, if I can get my camera woman to move back, I'm going to have a rummage in my drawers, and here we have some school PVA. Dead cheap stuff this, it's great. Usually use it for building card models, but what we're actually going to use it for now is just to provide a little bit of a bond so that this doesn't rattle around. And if it does end up rattling around, it's not the end of the world, because we can easily remove it and then refit it. So a little bit on there, and what we're going to do is we're just going to make sure that there's enough on there. So we've got a little bit of glue, we've just got to be careful that it doesn't squeeze out the sides, making sure that we've got this, let's see, the right way round, and we're going to very carefully try and, this is harder than it looks, because you need to kind of try and get your fingers into a space that's being occupied by what you're trying to put in. What I'm doing with my other hand, you can see I'm just trying to ease the body apart. There we go. Nearly there. Needs to go all the way forward. There, click, clunk, click every trip. Now, just need a tissue. I had a tissue a moment. Oh, there we are. Right, just need a tissue, and the PVA will just wipe off any excess, just to make sure we don't end up with a dirty mess. Seems alright. And that should just hold that part of the cab in place, so it won't just drop down, rattle around. So I have one final check. Yep, windows in, windows in, windows in. And then I've got to reassemble all of this. It's quite a beefy chassis. Now, which way around did it go? When it came out, and when you dismantle it, you've got to be very careful. This wire is kind of wrapped around that chip holder there like that. So I'm going to put that back. And then the body just, the reverse of when I removed it, it just sort of goes back down and clips on. It's actually, I must admit, this is quite a good design insofar as getting the body on and off. It's quite easy. And that's now in place, and it's just a case of fitting back on some of the bits of detail. I kind of went for a bit of overkill. I started off like instructions, we need no stinking instructions, so I just undid every screw I could see, and it turns out that most of these screws aren't for taking the body off. And there we have it, model back together, windows back in place, and no major injuries. So anyway, you take very good care of yourself. Don't forget to share this video, subscribe to the channel, and you know the usual routine. And I'll catch you next time, when hopefully we won't be getting too hands-on. We'll just be doing some reviews or trains going by videos. Bye for now. You know, glued with what appears to be the equivalent of gnat piss.